Okay, welcome everybody. We will be talking about reforestation and afforestation as a way of combating climate change. With our presentation, we will be going in depth with specifically how it works, its benefits, what are its consequences, and how it would work to get there. Just the definitions, reforestation would mean replanting saplings on soil that was once a forest already. And afforestation would mean replanting trees on land that has not had forests.
So the way reforestation and afforestation help fight climate change is by reducing the greenhouse effect. Um, so we're basically using trees and plants to take carbon dioxide from the air and store it in their leaves, branches, whatever. Um, and they do this through photosynthesis.
So the benefits of reforestation and afforestation is that first of all, you increase biodiversity in a variety of locations. Specifically, you'll be able to increase a lot of the biodiversity in amphibians and in birds, which have dramatically gone down in the recent years due to climate change and due to the greenhouse effects. And you also provide a lot of canopy covers to areas that are being reforested, that go through programs of reforestation and afforestation. And that is because that's important because canopy covers provide a lot of natural cooling so that less energy is spent on AC and other mechanical ways of cooling the air around you. And forests are actually the number one source of fresh water supplies. So that means the way that works is the trees have a complex root system which will naturally filter a lot of the underground and runoff water that comes, and it'll lead to natural water sources that are freshwater and viable for humans and other species, which is how the biodiversity increases.
So the function of reforestation and afforestation programs usually would be to regain new raw materials, and that has become more relevant after the industrial age in the 19th and 20th century because of that necessity. However, that practice has actually, the practice of reforestation and afforestation has been more common in many remote communities all over the world for thousands of years because of the fact that it aligns with their values with the environment and the conservation of natural resources. So we see an example of reforestation, one in what's called the Appalachian Regional Reforestation Initiative, which was done in 2004. And that was a collaboration in the DC metro area in Maryland and in Virginia between the community, the local community, environmental groups, and local municipalities. And that was to reforest saplings along the Appalachian Mountains, where it was once coal mines in there.
So the requirements in order to have a successful reforestation afforestation program is that first we have to not only like replant trees, but also reduce the rate at which we're cutting down trees. So right now, a lot of trees are being cut down for natural resources that we use and for human development. So that means building cities, building urban centers, building villages. And if we reduce the rate at which we're cutting down trees and increase the rate at which we're planting trees through afforestation and reforestation programs, then we'll have a net increase in net carbon sinks, which will mean more carbon neutral, more negative carbon sources. And as of right now, there's 900 million hectares of canopy cover available for planting trees. So that means 900 million hectares of reducing cooling and reducing the energy used for ACs and other such natural cooling environments.
So the first criticism of reforestation and afforestation is that has to do with it taking a lot of land. Most land already has some sort of use intended for it, so it's going to be hard to find places to plant trees where people don't already want to do something else with the land. The second criticism has to do with the time scale that it would take place on. So 40 to 100 years is a pretty long time. And we don't know how the climate will change during that time. So this makes it very difficult to determine how much we should spend on tree planting efforts. And it also brings in questions about how the albedo will actually change based on trees. So trees are darker than things like ice. So we don't know if that would actually cause warming effects.
All right, so we took a close look at reforestation and afforestation as a method to combat climate change. We know that the method is a natural, it's a method for natural, that acts as a natural carbon sink. It serves purposes in an ecosystem that provides food and habitats for species. It prevents erosion and helps with water management. We also learned that the practice is, for now, is for the function that mitigates the effects of climate change, but also has not been used for many communities all over the world. And we'll also learn lastly that that it is some drawbacks with it regarding land use, and that it has a very slow rate of returns.